will see Donald Trump inaugurated again. Remember last time?
An education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. And the crime, and the gangs, and the drugs that have stolen too many lives and robbed our country of so much unrealized potential. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
Well, it was quite a moment. I remember it well, Donald Trump's first inaugural address. Bearing in mind, that's often the moment presidents choose to engage in a bit of soaring rhetoric. Remember JFK saying, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Donald Trump getting up there and talking about this American carnage is over was quite a different tone. His Republican predecessor, George W. Bush, is said to have commented at the time that was some weird stuff. He didn't actually use the word stuff, he used a different word, but you get the gist. So, what will Trump Mark II bring this year? Sarah Elliott, spokesperson for Republican Overseas, is here to give us a look inside what's on the horizon for Trump in 2025. Good morning, Sarah. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Happy New Year.
Do you think Trump's second term will be very different from his first? And if so, how?
Yeah, I definitely think it'll be different. He will still ride on those themes of law and order, especially that we've had the population of London cross the southern border in the last 3.5 years. So he will definitely have that sound of cracking down on like the Venezuelan gangs that have entered America, the fentanyl crisis, etc. But it will be very different because he will not have any establishment GOP figures in his administration. He has welcomed in Silicon Valley with people like Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, Kash Patel, and others who some we've never even heard of, like Pete Hegseth to be head of Department of Defense. So he has his own team in there to change things up. And he's going to not just be law and order, he's going to go after the deep state, he's going to reform the FBI and also the FDA and go after some of those ideas that COVID generated and the bureaucracy at the NIH, which is the National Institute of Health, and the Food and Drug Administration. It's going to be a massive shakeup. The institutions of the United States government and those that are funded by it will be very different.
What do you think he will prioritise in his first 100 days? Because for any president, for any political leader, doesn't matter who you are, where you are, there is only so much you can do at one time. Will he prioritise, for example, dealing with the border? Will he prioritise going after some of his political enemies? Or will he look at foreign affairs even and try and resolve the situation in Ukraine? What do you think he will focus on first?
So he really only has 18 months to institute his agenda before the campaigning for the midterm elections in 2026 begin. So his first 100 days are very important. First off, we have to elect a U.S. Speaker of the House, which is this Friday. And his choice for Speaker is teetering on the edge. He can only lose one vote of support from Republicans in the House. Otherwise, the speakership will be removed from him. And Donald Trump has backed Mike Johnson to be Speaker of the U.S. House. That will be very important to his legislative agenda. So you have that. You have the tax cuts. He instituted massive tax reform in 2017, which sunsets. So they have to extend that for economic growth, and they need to deregulate and cut taxes to see the economic benefits they want to see in 2 years' time before the midterm elections. And then you also have the war in Ukraine. He definitely wants to wrap that up. He does not want to be distracted by Europe because his focus is China and how to deal with that economic and rising military adversary. And then you also have immigration, as we've said before. So really sealing that southern border, revising the U.S. immigration system, whether it's in regards to H-1B visas, which has been a bit of a controversy recently in the past week or so, and also, getting rid of these sanctuary cities and gangs, and of course the drug crisis. And he's also talked about expanding American influence in places like Greenland and the Panama Canal again. So this is going to be a very busy and full administration, but they know exactly what they're doing in terms of the people coming in. They've been preparing for over 4 years, and it's just going to be move, move, move as fast as you can.
Well, it certainly won't be dull, that's for sure. It's interesting, Sarah, you mentioned the H-1B visas, because there has been this row in MAGA world, if you like, over recent weeks. So these are immigration visas that enable foreign nationals to come and live and work in the US. Notably, Elon Musk himself came from South Africa on the H-1B visa in 2002. And some people on the right of US politics want to see the use of H-1B visas clamped down upon because they want to see an overall reduction in the numbers of immigrants. And other people, including Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, coming out and saying, no, this is really important for the US economy. Is this the kind of thing? Are we starting to see a fracture now in Donald Trump's coalition over this?
I mean, yes, you are. I mean, will Donald Trump remain loyal to his base, where putting the America worker first rather than the immigrant? But also, Donald Trump has come out and backing Elon Musk's position on this. And it's mainly because he wants to see a very competitive U.S. economy. He wants to see America attracting the best and the brightest in the world to keep us ahead of places like China and India and Russia, especially in the tech world. So in order to be ahead in AI, for instance, or in space pioneering, you need to have the best minds in tech. And that's part of their thinking.
You also mentioned Donald Trump's plan for tax cuts. I just wonder, Sarah, as a Republican, as someone who I assume would consider yourself a fiscal conservative, are you comfortable with tax cuts given the US national debt is currently at $36 trillion? The US national debt is a ticking time bomb that no one is really waking up to, isn't it?
Oh, I completely agree with you. Yes, that the debt is horrific and it's unsustainable, which is why you also have to cut government spending. You have to cut the desire for the money, which is what DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, run by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, will do. But also, you have to cut regulation. You have to cut taxes to stimulate entrepreneurs and business people to create jobs, which creates revenue, and that. It will flush the U.S. government. We saw it by the end of 2019. In December 2019, our GDP went up to 3% for the first time. We saw wages increase beyond inflation on average for working people for the first time in 16 years. This stuff does work, but government has to get out of the way to allow the American entrepreneur, the small businessman, the corporation, to everyone to invest and hire more people.
Sarah, just finally, and I'm going to do that really irritating journalistic thing of asking for a one-word answer, if you will. There's been a lot of speculation that Elon Musk and Donald Trump may come to blows at some point this year, that they're two big egos, that they'll fall out at some point. Will Elon Musk still be running DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, by the end of the year, in your view?
Yes. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is the big question.
Okay, very good. Sarah, thank you so much. Sarah Elliott there, spokesperson for Republicans overseas, looking ahead to what will no doubt be a big year in US politics.